Hello everyone, welcome to FOC class 12. This is part 8 of Fundamentals of Java Programming of class 12 IT. So let us start. So today we will be discussing the topic arrays and we will be finishing this topic in the next video. These two videos will be very important as they will be covering the whole concept of array, its example, its coding error. All these concepts will be covered in this video and the upcoming video. So let us start. Now, arrays is a completely new topic for you as till now you were studying about variables, but arrays we have not discussed till now. We have not used the word arrays anywhere. So it is basically a new topic, a new concept. So let us try to understand it. First of all, what are variables? We have already studied about them. They are placeholders for a single value. Means whenever you want to store one value, only and only one value, then you use variable. But what if you want to store more than one value? In that case, you cannot use a variable because in this case, you want to store more than one value, but variables they store or they are placeholders for only a single value. So for this purpose, we have introduced the concept of array. What are array? Array are variables, but special type of variables. How? Because they can hold more than one value. They can hold a list of values of the same type. Means arrays are those variables which will be acting as the placeholders for more than one value, and which type of values? The values of the same type. We are going to understand this through the example. It will be clear to you. First of all, we have taken example of variable. Here we want to store the marks of a student. So you can clearly see that here we are wanting that we have placeholder for only a one single value. And here the single value is marks of a student. So here we have used a variable and its name is marks obtained and its data type is double, and we have initialized it here. Here in the coding part, we have written the coding, and now you can see we have used this statement double marks obtained equal 346. This statement we have used, and to display this variable, this value in the output, we have used the system.out.println statement. So you can see here in the output, we have 346.0. Why zero point 0? Because here we have mentioned double. So that is why here zero point 0 is also written. Now, if we want to store or we want to add marks of another student, then in that case, what we will do with variable? So, to store the marks of another student, we have changed the variable marks obtained as follows. Here we have changed the value. You can see here that we have not done any editing in the previous statement. Double marks obtained is equal to 346. In this statement, we have not done any change. We have only added a new statement, that is marks obtained equal 144, because we have already declared and initialized the variable, so we can directly change its value here. Now, what will be its output? Here we can see in the output window that the output is 144.0. But you might be wondering why the output is not containing the value 346.0, because 346 is also written here. We have not deleted it. So the basic reason behind this output only 144.0. The reason behind this is that we have used variable here. We have not declared the array. And as I have told you that we use variable as placeholder for only a single value. So here only one single value will be displayed because this marks obtained is a variable and not an array. If we would have used array here instead of variable, then both the marks would be displayed. So by changing marks obtained, we have lost information about the first student's marks. here you can see whenever we have changed the variable, so only the new value will be displayed and we have lost the information about the previous value. So this is where we need array instead of variable. Now, you might say that, ma'am, instead of using array, we can also use two variables, for example, marks 1 and marks 2. In this way, we can store both the students' marks. You are actually right. We can use this method for storing marks of both the students. But what if there were 5 students in the class and you would need to store the marks of those 5 students? And suppose if there were 15 students, then you would need 15 variables. Oh my god, that would be really complicated, wouldn't it be? Yes, it would be. So, here you can see if you are declaring 5 different variables for storing marks of 5 students, then you can see how long it is going. Will you declare 15 variables for 15 students? No. In my opinion, that would be complicated, and array is a much simpler method for this purpose. Let us see how. Now, Java provides a simpler way to store the marks of 5 students. Now we are going to see how we will store the marks of 5 students using array. We have defined the array here. You already know double, it's a data type, and marks here means the variable that we are going to use. At last, we have put semicolon as we do in Java programming to end a statement. Now, why have we used these brackets here? The purpose of these brackets is to indicate the array, because marks is a variable. But how will the Java compiler know that this variable is not storing only one single value? It will be used for storing multiple values of the same data type, which is double. So for this purpose, we have used these brackets so that the Java compiler can know that we are using array instead of variable, and array can hold more than one value. So for this purpose, we have used these brackets, and this is how we define the array. Now to specify that the array can hold up to 5 marks. Now we want that we have to specify that the array can hold up to 5 marks. For this purpose, we will specify the size of the array. Basically, size is a property of array. There are many properties of array like size, length. We will be discussing them. First of all, we are discussing the property size. And how do we specify the size? We will specify it using the keyword new as shown below. Here you can see this marks is the name of the variable, and here we have used the keyword new. What is it indicating? It is basically indicating that we are specifying the size of the array, and here in the brackets we will write that value. So here you can see in the coding part we have defined the array, and we have also specified the size of the array. Now in the previous coding we have used the different statement for defining array and specifying the size of the array. But we can also write these two statements in one statement. How? Let us see it. We have here defined the array, and here we have also specified the size of the array in one statement only. So this is how you can combine the two statements, declaring an array and specifying its size. Both of these you can combine in one statement also, and if you want you can also write them in different statements. Now, as you can see here, we have specified the size of the array as 5. So now we are going to talk about a very important concept that you should always remember, and generally a question is asked from this concept because many students get confused and sometimes they give wrong answer. So please understand it carefully and do not make any mistake in the questions. So what is the concept? The concept is that each element of the array is indexed by its position. What does it mean? It means that The array consists of elements. For example, here are arrays marks. So what are the elements of that array? These are marks 1, marks 0, marks 2, marks 3, marks 4. These are the elements of this array. And what is its size? Its size is 5. So whenever we want to give them position, the elements are to be given the position. So from where we will start? We will never start from 1. Please remember that. We will never start from 1. We will always start from 0. And till where we will continue? We will continue to the value n minus 1 for an array of size n. For example, here the size of our array was 5, means n is equal to 5. So what will be the value of the position? It will be from 0 to n minus 1. N minus 1 means 5 minus 1, which is 4. So what will be the position? They will be 0 to 4, means marks 0, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3 and marks 4. So this was the important concept from which many times question comes and students make mistake. So please remember that whenever you have to give position to the elements of the array, you will always start from 0 and continue it up to n minus 1 for an array of size n. We can initialize the array statically, that is at compile time as shown below. Now we can also initialize the array statically. Statically means we can give the values ourselves. For example, here you can see we have given the values as follows: double, marks, equal. Here we have given the 5 values and these are the 5 values we have written in the coding also. So here what we have done, we have initialized the array statically. Statically means at compile time. Now, the statement above creates an array of double of size 5 and elements are assigned with the numbers given in the curly braces. Components of an array may be assigned value using an assignment statement. Means in this statement which we had just written in the coding, in this statement we are assigning the values ourselves. We have given these 5 values from our side and these values will be assigned to the elements. And we have given 5 numbers, so of course the size is 5. And what is the data type? The data type is double. We have also specified the data type. Now components of an array may be assigned value using an assignment statement. Means it is not necessary that every time you are giving or assigning the values to the elements in this form. You can also assign values using an assignment statement. What is assignment statement? As we have already learnt about operators, we learnt about assignment operators also. So what do? Basically they assign the values. So the same task they are going to do here, and these type of statement which will use the assignment operators, they will be called as assignment statement. So here we have used our assignment statement int I is equal to 3, and then we have specified the value. Means for the value of I, which is 3, for that marks will be equal to 210.75. So this is how we are assigning the value using the assignment operator, which is equal to. To print all the marks, we can use a for loop, varying the loop index from 0 to 4. Now we want to print the marks. So for this purpose, we are going to use the for loop, and we have already studied about these loops very well in the previous videos. If you are confused about any loop, so you can watch those videos. Everything will be clear to you. Now we are proceeding with these commands. What is the command to print the loop index from 0 to 4? For int I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. So can you just tell me what are these? Basically, this is the for statement, and these are the three parts that we had studied in for statement. This is the initial value, this is the condition, and this is the counter change value. After that, we have given system.out.println statement. Why? Because we want to print the marks, and we know that for printing something we use the command system.out.println or system.out.print, and in the bracket we have written that what actually we want to print. So here what do we want to print? We want to print the marks, and since marks is a kind of array, so we have written it in the form of array. So here you can see in the coding part we have initialized the variable, we have given the for loop statement, and we have also given the print statement also. So this was our coding. Now let us see what is its output. This is the output of the coding above, and you can clearly see that the marks are printed in the form that we wanted, because we had used the println statement, so all the marks are printed in new line, and also because we had used this change counter value I plus plus, so not only one value remains the same, it keeps on changing. Till when? Till I less than 5. So till this condition is true, the value keeps changing, and we have initialized the value as 0. Now let us discuss about the length property of array. So what is length property? Basically it is the same thing as the size of the array, means whatever is the size of the array, it is called its length. So for the marks array that we had just used, the marks length will be 5. We indicate the length property in the following way. We just give the name of the array, then we put a dot and then length. This keyword is used to indicate that we are giving the length property of the array. So what will be the length of the marks array? It will be 5, because we have discussed that length property is the size of the array, and the size of marks array was 5. So for this purpose the length property of marks array will be 5. We can thus code the previous for loop to print all the elements of an array as. So we had just used the for command and print command for printing the marks. So here, instead of giving the size or the length, we can also write marks dot length. Why? Because length length property and the size of the array are the same thing. So wherever you are using the size of the array, you can also use the length property, and the effect, the output of that statement will be the same. There will be no change. Let us see. So here you can see we have just made a small change in the coding. We have just replaced the 5 with marks dot length. Why? Because we have just studied that length property and size of the array are same thing. So for this purpose we have changed this, and you can clearly see that there is no change in the output. The output is the same as the previous coding, and so we can say that the length property and the size of the array are same thing. The length property is the size of the array. Thank you. That was all for today. The topic array is not completed yet. We will be completing the topic array in the next video. If you have any doubt in this topic, it will be cleared in the next video. So we'll meet you soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye.